Yes, welcome back to the second stanza of the program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is still Nelson Ekujumi, and I still have with me in the studio Comrade Titilope Akosa, Executive Director, Center for 21st Century Issues. Yes, we want to quickly go to the issue of the Rivers State political imbroglio. It's now common knowledge. Just yesterday, news filtered in that Mr. President has waded into the matter. He has called all the gladiators, and there was a communique signed by the governor of Rivers State, similarly Fubara, as well as the other stakeholders in the issue. So for me, I think what this brings to fore is that not every, as much as I don't want to see that issue as something that should have, degenerated or developed into what it is. Because, like I said in a program, I said, look, that the House of Assembly is peopled by members of Party A, and the governor is from Party B, should not in any way affect governance. Because whether you are a member of APC or PDP or Labour or GMPP or whatever, your responsibility is to the constituents, the people that elected you. And when the people elect you into office, what the people want is good governance. They don't want to know the color of your party as at that time. They want a society whereby they can sleep with their two eyes closed, that their children can go to work, that they can access medical health care, that they can access quality, roads. So I'm like, do we need to have Mr. President intervening? Because we know that the role of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is like what Yorubas call the Ataria Janaku, Isheru Omode. The head of an elephant is not for children. That the office of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a very serious office. And there are too much on the table of Mr. President for him to run and see that, there's no crisis in subnational. But recognizing that Mr. President, being a Democrat who was in the trenches, to bat this democratic dispensation, recognizing that, if one part of the body has injury, if you don't treat it on time, that wound can fester. That wound can even develop into something else. So we must commend Mr. President for his intervention. That today, all things is like with Mr. President's intervention yesterday, it's like the tension in the political atmosphere has come down. Because before this intervention, we were like, what is the next move from whether party side A or side B? So for me, I think I want to admonish the stakeholders that whether they belong to party or party B should not be the issue. The issue should be about the welfare, the peace and prosperity of the people of Rivers State, as well as our democracy.
Yeah, well, to a large extent, I agree with you. But we must also remember that party is the vehicle through which people get to positions.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Power. And then people vote for different reasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you see the reason, you see what is happening in Port Harcourt right now.
Rivers.
A lot of the commissioners withdrew of their own volition. They said they are not working again. There must be a reason. You see, obviously, there is a problem between Wike and Fubara. There's no way hiding it. But just like I always tell people, you see, frictions occur.
It's natural, even between
between
the teeth and the
husband and
tongue.
wife.
Even between the teeth and the tongue.
Even husband and wife fight. In fact, if you see a marriage that lasts long, they've known how
gone
to
through so
to
many
actually
tumults.
address their conflicts.
Yes.
They've
It's
known-
natural. It's
Yeah,
human
so-
nature.
But it's only when you cannot address those conflicts. That's why you see people go for divorce. And divorce is not always the best. To be candid, it's not always the best. I remember in those days when I was still with the late Chief Enao, he always tell me, Titi, when two friends fight, it's their enemy that would actually gain. Because their enemies will now sit down and take
wait for
over
them
all the gains. Because in the heat of that anger and annoyance, they misbehave.
They
lose their heads, and then everything both of them have worked for, they use their own hands to destroy it. And that's what we are seeing. And we need to be very careful here, because when two people fight, somebody must pretend to be a fool, while the other one, okay, I'm smart. You see, and especially in the political space, I'm telling you, you need to exercise a lot of patience, because all of you don't think the same way. You don't have the same interest. And then so you must learn to accommodate each other's interest, one way or the other. So what I would say is that I appreciate that the president has waded into this. And the people I appreciate more, I will tell you, is Odili and a host of elders in Port Harcourt who actually stepped in. You see, I have learned something in...
But you know, as Africans, you know, we have this saying that if children are fighting, it is the role of elders to, you know, to tutor them on the... And that is exactly what these elders have done, including Mr. President.
They've really done well,
yes,
by stepping into the matter and calling all the two parties to order. See, let me tell you one thing. I have seen politics the way it's being played in the West and in the way it is being played even in the Niger Delta.
South.
Honestly, I will give it to the Southwest people. They understand, they read body language and they understand how to manipulate things in such a way that everybody at the end of the day will just still keep quiet and let's move on. Because people must understand that there is no perfect relationship anywhere. There is no perfect leader. People are talking about, oh, godfatherism. Is there a place where there's no godfather? Tell me.
That's the question I always throw out when I'm asked that question.
Is there a place where there's no godfather?
I don't know.
Even there are godfathers, there are godmothers.
Yes.
It depends on the way you look at it.
Or the way the godmother exerts her influence.
A lot of us in the civil society, we always say, we have mentors. Mentors are also
godfathers, yes.
Godfathers.
Role models are godfathers.
So it depends on the name you put on it. But these people you call godfather, they have influence on your life.
Absolutely. They can either make or mar you.
And then we must also remember that if there's anybody in this world that does not have somebody that can influence that person, run away from that person. That's not the best. So, but for the sake of democracy, I think people should look at the broader goal of making sure that the people benefit from the dividends of democracy rather than their own parochial interest.
And again,
and this is very important.
Let me also come in there. I find one thing very disturbing. When in a democratic journey, the presentation, the passage, and the signing of the 2024 appropriation bill by the governor, for me, it was an act of illegality. It was an assault on the legislature, so, because that's true. As well as the office of the government, because the constitution of the Nigeria is very clear, even in our private city, in our private meetings.
You see, you must understand, he has seen a precedent somewhere, and he felt he could also use it and get away with it. See,
very unfortunate.
It's so unfortunate that we have few Democrats in our democratic system. You see, honestly, of course, Democrats that also go through the process, of course, people know how to lace the process. Okay, you want me to go through the process, I can lace it and get what I want. But that is even still better than open violation of democratic principles. And that was what Fubara was doing.
Yes.
It's not the best. It's not the best for our democracy. But nevertheless, we must also not forget and undermine the fact that there are some godfathers, godmothers, mentors, or whatever name you call them, that can even be the one abusing you. How do you deal with that? And I always say it, these things have happened several times in several places.
And if you continue to happen,
your godfather can be the one abusing you and the one limiting you. So you need to be very smart, very calculative to deal with it without rancor.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope that, but we don't have enough patience. Some people are giving more patience than the other.
Like a former minister said, I have short fuse. Some have short fuse, Some have medium fuse, while some have long fuse.
So
Well,
that's it. So we just pray. And then again, if these things does not really relate to your life, if it will not take away your life, you understand, then you can still be patient. But if you see that your life is going to be involved, my sister and brother, do what is needful.
Well, I hope this intervention
do what is needful to save yourself.
I hope this intervention by these elders will lead to rest, this political imbroglio in
we hope so. The elders have stepped in.
They have stepped in.
And I believe that for people who actually have a sense of responsibility, they should also be ready to listen to the words of wisdom of elders.
Comrade Akusa,
thank
you very much for your...
What is happening in Port Harcourt can scatter Nigeria.
Of course. I said it
so
that an injury to one part of the body, you know how I feel. So I thank you very much for your submission on this program, on the River State Political Imbroligo. Till we come our way again next episode of The Conversation. Please continue to watch The Conversation coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. Till we come your way again next time, bye-bye and have a good day.